Hello, my name is Purab Kothari. My student ID is 21581658. Now I will show you the video demonstration of the apps I have created for the mobile web app development module.
This is our cute icon app, wherein when we click on each of the image, it greets you, and it has a button for clear selection, which will reset the selection. So when we click the selection is reset. So whenever I click on any of this image, it greets you. So let's move to the coding part. Here we have used four images: penguin, cat, dog, and panda, and a button to clear text and a text view for text selections. So in the onCreate method, we have declared the variables and we have assigned them the UI. So when we click on the penguin button image, it sets the text to the greeting which we have predefined it, and it changes the color of the selected text. And the clear button is set to visible, which will help us to clear the selection. Same we have done for dog. When we click on the dog image, it will give you a greeting which is predefined, and the text of the color will be changed. And there will be again a clear selection button which will help you to clear the selection. Then next is panda, and we have done same for the cat as well. And we have used a clear button selection for clearing the selection. In that, we have we have changed the selected item text on the tab to image for clear selection. We have set its color to black, and once the selection is cleared, the clear button is set to visibility gone, so it won't be visible. Travel up from London, where we have options of mode of transport. So if we select the mode of transport as boat, it gives us a spinner. In this, we have an option for to select the destination. Once we select the destination, it gives us a short description about the destination, the time to reach, and the distance to reach, and we have a clear selection button as well. So let's move on to the code. First, we have initialized the data using hash maps. We have created two hash maps, that is destination detail and destination data. So according to this hash map, we have mapped the mode of transport and the destination. And in destination details, we have mapped the destination and the details of the destination. After initializing the data, we have created an unchecked listener on the radio groups. It will select the mode of the travel. And once the mode of travel is selected, it will update the spinner. It will populate all the data, taking the data from the destination data, and it will populate the spinner. Once the population is done, then we have an item select listener. Whenever an destination is selected from using a spinner, if the position of the destination is to the select destination, it will clear all the details, that is the description, time to reach, and distance will be cleared. And if a legitimate destination is selected, it will take the data from the destination details, and it will check if it is not null. And if it is not null, then it will display all these details, that is short description, time to reach, and distance of the data. We have one submit button as well, which will again select all the data, and it will display to the user. Then we have one clear button, which is used to clear all the selections. So it will clear all the radio checks. Then it will set adapters to null, and in this clear detail functions, we'll clear all the details here again. And at the end, we have one model created for destination details. That is, there are three strings. One is for short description, time to reach, and distance. We have one separate constructor for it, and we have three getter methods for all the strings or the variables. Next, we have a catalog app. In this, we have a big image of the selected animal and a short description about the animal. Here we have an array of animals, and the highlighted animals will be shown. So we have two buttons for next, which will switch the selections, and we have one preview previous button to show the previous animals. So let's move on to the code. Here first we have created a list of animals that will be getted from this array items. We are defining the image of the array, a short description of the animal. Then we are using this animal data, and we are setting an adapter and putting it into the adapter. We are setting the data to the recycler view. There are two buttons, that is the next button and the previous button. It has its update animal info method. We have animal select method as well. In this, we are selecting the animal, which we can do manually. And this is the update animal info method. In this, the selected animal or the previous or the next animal, depending upon the selection of the user, we can find the animals. Login and sign up page. So this is the login page, and this is the registered page. So we have registered an user already. So let us test with it. It also has a feature of remember me as well. So let's log in. So login is successful. So in register page, first we have a login button which has a function which will take us to the login activity using intents. And next we have register button. When we click on the register button, it does a simple validation, that is the null check, and it does a pattern match as well for the emails. And if the pattern does not match, it will prompt to user that the email which is entered it is not valid. And once all the validation is completed, it will add the user details to the database. Say for example the name, the email, and the password. And Once the insertion is successful, it will take us to the main login activity to log in the user. And if the insertion is failed, it will prompt the user that the insertion is failed. The insertion failed can be many reasons, that the email ID is not unique or the email already exists. Then we have a login page. Similar with login page, we have a register page, which will take us to the registration page. And when we click on the login button, it does a simple validation here as well. It does a simple validation here. Same goes for email patterns. It will check the for valid email, and once all the validation is done, it will check into the database that whether the entered email and the entered password is correct. And if the user details are found, that is the user details are not null, it will store them into these variables. And we have created a shared preference here, which will store the user preferences. That is whether the user have opted for remembering the user, and the user ID and the username of the user will be stored into the shared preferences. And once the storing of user preferences is done, it will tell the user that you are welcome, and it will take to the main activity. And if the user details are not found, then it will say that the entered credentials are not valid. That is, email is invalid or the password is wrong. Then we have this database class. In this database class, we have created a user table which shows the user ID, that is the primary key, and which auto increments every time. Then there's a name, there's the email, and the email is unique all the time. And then there's the password. So there's a add user function. It takes the parameters name, email, and password, and using these parameters, it stores the user details into the database user. And there is the one more function, that is the check user function. It checks that the entered email and the password is present into the database, and based on that, it returns the username and the user ID to the user. And then there's the main activity, which takes the user data from the shared preferences, that is the user ID and the username, to display it on the action bar of the app.
In which we can perform simple basic operations. Say for example 2 plus 2 into 4. It gives an accurate result considering the board mass expressions. So let us jump into coding side. Here we have defined the basic variables. On create method we have used the elements or the views from the XML layouts. We have defined its IDs. Next we have set two button click listeners, that is on clear and one for equals to. So these are the major actions which we perform. When we click on the is equals to button, it has a function which calculates the results. In this, it first checks if the current expression, which is the chained expression, is 0 or not, and based on that it returns. And if it is not 0, it has something to evaluate. We have a function for evaluate expression as well, which will evaluate the current expression which is there, and it will calculate the results and it will show it to the output. So in this function of evaluate expressions, first we have a stack for one for operator and one for number, to store all the numbers and the operators in a stack to perform an expression evaluation. Then we have a loop, and based on that loop we parse all the numbers and then we perform operations on it. Next, we have a precedence method. In this, we check for the precedence of an operator. If it is positive or the negative, then it returns 1. And if it is multiplication and division, then it returns 2. We have an inventory management app. In this app, we have a list of stocks, a list of items which have a quantity. And when we click on add button, it asks me to place an order. So let us select on the laptop and I say quantity 5. It will add my quantity to 5, and it has reduced the laptop's original stock item quantity to -5. So it does reflect here as well. So the previously the quantity was 10, now it is 5. And when I see in the order item, I can see that one laptop and quantity 5 has been placed. So I can edit from here as well. So instead of 5, say for example, I want just 3 quantities. I update the quantity. So now the quantity has been updated to 3, and here the quantity has been updated to 7. So let us jump on to the coding side. In the main activity, we have nothing much but just a list recycler view, and we have an adapter. In this adapter, we just simply add the data, and we have a dialog UI which pop-ups the dialog for adding an item. And the main part is this database. We have here two tables. One is the order and one is the items. And in that we have several actions which we perform. Say for example, add inventory item, get all the inventory items, update inventory quantities, insert orders, get all orders, update orders, delete orders, get items by name, and much more. Product and baskets management app. In this, we have this list of items which we can add to a basket, and we have another screen in which we can go and check out our baskets. So we can modify its quantity, say for example 4. So this all thing has been recorded into our database. So this is the list of products we have. This is our basket table in which we have added the laptop and the quantity is 4. So once I modify the quantity to say example 7, it will automatically update my quantity to 7 over here. If for example, if I want to add one more item, say phone, and I go to the basket, I can eventually change its quantity as well. And once I click on the checkout button, it says that this is a summary laptop into 7, and 4 into 6. And once I click OK, my order has been placed. And in order table, it gives me my details as well. So let us move on to the coding part. So this is the basic database which we have created. There are three tables: table product, table basket, table orders, and we have multiple methods. Say for example, one method for add product, one method for get all products, one method to add basket, update the basket quantity. Next is get basket items. Next we have remove from basket, clear basket, add sample products, add orders. There's a main activity in which we have populated the data and we have created a product adapter as well. In this adapter, there are everything which we need. Say for example, when we set an item, it sets it into the text view, product name, product price, product image. And similarly, we have basket adapter as well.